Hello and welcome to this Forex Preview at xm.com. I'm Maria Pashurdis and joining me is lead investment analyst Rafi Boyadjian. We'll be discussing the Eurozone's flash GDP estimate due out on Friday and the outlook for the euro. So Rafi, the Eurozone economy is expected to have shrunk during the first quarter of this year. That would confirm the euro area fell into a double-dip recession. How significant would that be?
Well, Maria, that would be kind of symbolic in the sense that both the US and the UK managed to avoid double-dip recession. However, it is now seen as a bit of old news. So on the whole, it's not that significant, especially now that the EU is finally making progress on the vaccination front. So Eurozone countries are now vaccinating their population at a much faster pace. So although big Eurozone economies are in some kind of a lockdown, there's growing hope that those restrictions will be lifted in the coming months and we could see some kind of reopening later in the summer. And we're also seeing some progress on the EU recovery fund. So there was a bit of a delay there and EU nations have yet to receive their virus relief packages. So hopefully later in the year there will be that recovery fund will be distributed as well. So things are somewhat looking more positive now than they did just a few weeks ago. So there is this renewed optimism now about the Eurozone recovery, and that's what investors are focusing on.
Okay, if there is indeed a solid rebound in the second quarter, what will that mean for ECB policy and the euro?
So if the vaccinations continue at a rapid pace and we see lockdown restrictions being removed in the coming weeks, and more importantly, there's a little risk of new lockdowns later in the year. So if we assume that this will be the last lockdowns we see in Europe, that would then mark a turning point for the European recovery and then in turn for ECB policy. Now, there is some talk that the ECB may signal tapering at its June policy meeting. Some would argue that that's a bit premature, but then again, if the outlook continues to improve as it is at the moment, vaccinations continue as scheduled, and there's little chance of fresh lockdowns later in the year, then we could well see the ECB become more hawkish by the June meeting, and then that would support a much more stronger euro in the second half of this year. And we're already seeing a solid rebound in the euro, although that's mainly down to the weaker euro. We are now seeing this in the past few days. We've seen the Eurozone bond yields edge higher, and if that coincides with growing optimism for the euro area economy, then we could well see a much stronger euro in the second half, if not sooner.
Rafi, thanks so much. And thanks for joining us at xm.com.